other businesses.
True.
Well, let me say this. I get where you're coming from, and you're right, Wendy. And I want to state for the record that tanking to me is not nearly as big of a problem as load management. I know that's some win for. You don't even know how to lose. You were supposed to lose so you get the high draft pick. What are you doing? So we see tanking, and it's not that big of an issue to the public. The big issue is the load management, because the load management has been a disgrace to the game, where you have healthy scratches or people that look like healthy scratches. Well, wait a minute here. You played last night, but you couldn't play the next night, even though you walked off the court and was looking absolutely fine. And then 2 nights later, you playing again. Well, how? That's just taking the game up. That's just taking the game off. You were fatigued. You needed rest. And then when you look at some of the coaches and some of the organizations and the decisions that they've made, because it's really not about the players half the time. It's about the organizations forcing them to do these things. What possible excuse could you have if you are the Lakers the other night and benching 5 starters? What possible excuse could you have if you are Steve Kerr on occasion when you benched 3 starters? I mean, damn. Make sure you parse it out a little bit and make sure one gets one game off, another gets another game off, et cetera, because you're showing just a dismissiveness towards the fan. That's the bigger problem. And so when people hear tanking, sometimes they don't delineate the difference between the two. They lump it all together. And that's an image problem for the NBA as well. But it's our responsibility to say there is a huge difference between load management and tanking. You tanking, you're not that good. You're positioning yourself to get a high pick so you can get an elite player to join your franchise so you can stop losing. That's entirely different than load management when you giving cats that are getting 9 figures time off when they had 4 or 5 months off for the year already. You're supposed to be spending the off season getting ready, not trying to get ready during the season when you're asking the paying customer or you're telling the paying customer you are ready when you're not. That's the problem.
And sometimes you have these load management games with these superstars. It's in prime time. It's on a national network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today on First Take, the conversation turned to the NBA's latest attempt to police its own integrity, fining the Utah Jazz $500,000 and the Indiana Pacers $100,000 for sitting healthy players, aka tanking. But Stephen A. Smith wasn't interested in the fines. He wasn't even that interested in the tanking. He had a much bigger target in his sights, load management. And he went off. Let's set the scene. The panel is discussing the fines, the league statement, and Utah owner Ryan Smith's defiant agree to disagree tweet. Stephen A. starts by acknowledging that the owner might have a point, but that the league has to send a message. We have a fan base to pay attention to, an audience to pay attention to who go about the business of patronizing our product and our brand that enabled us to sign an 11-year, $77 billion deal. He's right. The money is astronomical. And with that money comes responsibility. If you're doing something that compromises the integrity of the game, the league has to act. But Stephen A. is clear. I personally don't think it's enough. I think no fine should be for less than 7 figures. A man adds the player's perspective, noting that teams have been taking fines for load management for years. San Antonio famously did it, looked the camera in the eye, and said they didn't care. Does a 7-figure tax really hurt somebody to make them stop? Probably not. If the prize at the end of the rainbow is Cooper Flagg or the next generational talent, $1 million fine is just the cost of doing business. Wendy Nix then makes a crucial point. I'm giving the tankers a pass. She argues that teams are incentivized to lose. The system is broken. People are sometimes incentivized to do things that are not for the greater good. The way that everything is set up, you are incentivized to lose. She's right. Until the league changes the incentive structure, the draft lottery, the odds, the rewards for losing, teams will keep tanking. Adam Silver is just sticking his finger in a dam that's about to burst. And then Stephen A. takes over. And this is where it gets real. I want to state for the record that tanking to me is not nearly as big of a problem as load management. He draws a sharp distinction. Tanking is a team being bad, positioning itself for a higher pick, trying to get better. It's strategy. It's long-term thinking. Load management? That's something else entirely. Load management has been a disgrace to the game where you have healthy scratchers or people that look like healthy scratchers. You played last night. but you couldn't play the next night? Even though you walked off the court looking absolutely fine? And then 2 nights later, you're playing again? That's just taking a game off. You were fatigued. You needed rest. This is the heart of the issue. Fans save up money, buy tickets months in advance, take their kids to see their favorite player, and that player is in street clothes. Not injured. Just resting. And the league does nothing. Stephen A. calls out specific examples. What possible excuse could you have if you were the Lakers benching 5 starters? What possible excuse could you have if you were Steve Kerr on occasion when you bench 3 starters? He's not buying the injury management or load preservation arguments. These are the best athletes in the world, making 9-figure salaries, and they can't play 82 games? They had 4 or 5 months off in the off-season. That's the time to get ready. You're supposed to be spending the off-season getting ready, not trying to get ready during the season when you're asking a paying customer, or telling a paying customer you are ready when you're not. And then the kicker. Sometimes you have these load management games with these superstars. It's in prime time. It's on a national network. It's a sold-out game. And you don't have your stars playing. It becomes a problem. This is the image problem that the NBA can't shake. The league is obsessed with fixing tanking, a problem that affects maybe 6 teams. Meanwhile, load management affects every single team, every single night. Fans don't know who's actually going to play until tip-off. The product is degraded. And the league's response? A few small fines and a lot of hand-wringing. Stephen A.'s solution is simple. Make sure you parse it out a little bit. Make sure one gets 1 game off, another gets another game off. Because you're showing a dismissiveness towards the fan. That's the bigger problem. He's right. Tanking is strategic. Load management is disrespectful. What do you think? Is Stephen A. right that load management is a bigger problem than tanking? Should the league be fining teams millions, not thousands, for sitting healthy stars? And how do you fix the incentive structure that makes losing attractive? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you love passionate, no-holds-barred rants about the state of the game, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.